Hey guys, here's a question for you. Why do some marriages work while others die out? Nietzsche once tried to answer this by saying, quote, "It is not a lack of love, but a lack of friendship that makes unhappy marriages." So, if the German philosopher is correct, it would mean that the victim and killer in tonight's story may have love, but they were definitely not friends. That is, unless your definition of friendship means blasting a sawed-off shotgun in your lover's face and leaving the dying body to bleed out all over your basement floor.
And I'm ready to get back to school, and John gave us the hint of study hall. And the drink that we are drinking tonight is called Nerds.
Let's take a sip. It's like cosmic green.
It's like Kelly green. You know, I don't hate it.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. You did a good job with that lemonade, Nicole. We did have homemade lemonade in here. It is blue curacao Midori and Nicole's homemade lemonade. And we also used the Western Sun freeze pops as ice cubes.
Which melted. But that's okay. It only added to the drink.
All right, Nicole, so study hall tonight. Where are we going? Who are we killing inside the study hall?
Okay, I think we're going to North Carolina tonight.
Okay.
I don't know why. And I'm going to say we're going to 1994. And I think this is going to be not a school shooting case. I think this is going to be a case where a student does kill another student, though. I think it's where they kill him, like, after school. I know the hint was study hall, but I think they, like, let's take this outside kind of thing.
Interesting.
Beat him to a pulp.
Interesting. I was going to guess Columbine. I don't want it to be Columbine because that's a sad story. I also don't want it to be Marjorie Stoneham because that's also a sad story. And also Sandy Hook. So please none of those. But if they are any of those, then put it on the record that I was right and I had 3 guesses.
All right, tonight we're combining Columbine and Sandy Hook.
What do you mean?
I'm just kidding.
Oh, God. I was like, well, I'm going to need more booze. But did
you know that this is an interesting fact, but it's also a very sad fact, is that March 2020 was the first month since 2002 that there was not a school shooting.
That's because everyone's sitting at home with
I know, because school's not in session.
That's sad.
Isn't that amazing?
I mean, aside from summer vacation, I'm assuming. That's sad that the only reason why there hasn't been a school shooting is because we've been fucking quarantined. Yeah. I mean, it's a good side effect, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, that's the only positive of this quarantine.
That's kind of sad that there have been that many.
And before our surprise shot segment, sorry guys, I just want to give a shout out to everyone that was hit by those tornadoes recently. I know I spent an hour and a half in our bathtub.
So I was like, there's a tornado warning. Okay, let me put the dogs in with John. He's asleep.
That's not even how the conversation went. I was freaking out. You weren't really concerned. I was like, there's a tornado that's going to come. And you're like, okay, so sit in the bathtub. And I was like, okay.
I did. No,
Yes,
I said, well, I guess the bathtub's the safest place to be.
Why would that be the safest place?
That's where you're supposed to go.
In the bathtub?
In a tornado.
A room inside, away from the windows.
We don't have a basement, so.
Anyway. Surprise shots. Surprise shots. We don't know what they are because they're a surprise.
Tequila, and I feel like I tasted cinnamon.
Mm-hmm. Fireball.
We had Fireball?
Oh, I had a couple of nips, yeah.
Oh, that wasn't so bad, actually.
No, it wasn't. It was good.
For tequila, that was a good one, without the lime.
Tonight, we're doing a story for our very good friend and Tacos Primo, Rowan.
Oh, hey, Rowan, what's up?
Probably because she yelled at me for not doing her story.
Hi, I am Rowan, and I picked this story because it's close to home to me. I grew up 2 towns over in Watertown, Wisconsin, and I requested it because not only is it close to me, I also lived in Jefferson, and I also thought the Talk Murder to Me squad would really enjoy it. It's kind of a weird, wacky story, so yeah, I hope you had fun researching it, John, and I hope everybody else likes it. So thank you for finally getting to my request. I appreciate it. Much love from the road.
Thanks, Rowan.
Yeah.
Rowan, Also, we would like to thank you for what you're doing as a truck driver.
Oh, yes.
And bringing all of the stores, well, not all of the stores, the store that you drive to, supplies during this time. Thank you.
Do you have toilet paper on your truck?
Send some to us. We're running low.
All right, tonight we're going to Easter.
A Sunday?
Like that just happened.
Yeah, April 3rd, 1994. So
You said 94.
I said that. Whoa. I got one part right.
What happened in 1994? Kurt Cobain, Nirvana.
All right, so here are some of the things that happened in 1994. The yearly inflation rate was 2.61. I don't know, we don't care about that. Let me see. Tonya Harding wins the National Figure Skating Competition
That I, Tonya movie was actually really good.
That was excellent.
against Nancy Kerrigan.
Oh, this was before she
yeah,
whacked her knees?
because that was 96 in Georgia.
Ah.
There was some war in Rwanda, wherever that's at. Let me see.
Some war. It was between the Hutus and the Tutsis.
The
It
genocide?
was a genocide.
Oh.
They have movies and books about it. I read a couple of them.
Oh.
Left to Tell
Hotel Rwanda?
with Don Cheadle. I actually thought he was Rwandan. He's not. He's American.
Okay, well, in other news, Netscape was launched
Wow. They
for browsing
crashed
the
and
web.
burned.
O.J. Simpson flees the police.
Oh.
Popular television, Law and Order, America's Funniest Home Videos, One Foot in the Grave, Rugrats, The Jerry Springer Show, Ren and Stimpy Show, Absolutely Fabulous, Beavis and Butthead, Frasier, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers,
Yes!
NYPD Blue, Star Trek, Deep Space Nine. Oh my God, what was her name? Deep Space Nine, that girl. She was like a Borg. She's fucking hot. 7 of 9 or something. I used to have a crush on her. Anyway, The Late Show with David Letterman and The X-Files. All right, so tonight we're going to 1994. We're going to Easter morning. This murder happened on Easter morning.
Sunday, bloody Sunday.
And actually, there's been a lot of both television shows and movies made about this.
Really?
And I want to say, Rowan, I know you yelled at me for not doing your story, but I'm glad I did because it's a great story. Thank you so much.
Our tacos know how to put down.
Tonight we're going to Jefferson, Wisconsin. April 3rd, 1994. This was Easter morning. This 911 call comes into dispatchers. Dispatchers.
Someone just shot my dad. Where did this happen? On Barefoot Road. Blood all over. Okay, what is your name? Chuck Borchardt. Okay, Chuck, is he breathing at this time? Yeah, he's yelling. That are really bad. Okay.
If you couldn't understand that, the 911 call came in. The person on the line was very calm. Somebody just shot my dad. The 911 dispatcher said, "Is he breathing?" And then you can actually hear the dad in the background say, "Tell them to hurry up." And the caller, which was the 16-year-old son of the father, in a calm voice says, "Yes, he's telling you guys to hurry up." The person that was shot was Ruben Borchardt, Borchardt. This call came in at 3:35 a.m. from his 16-year-old son, Chuck Borchardt. This is what happened on that night. It was just him and his father in the house that his father owned. Now, his father was sleeping in the basement, as I'll get to in a little bit. But Chuck says he hears a noise. And since he's kind of upstairs and it's separated by, the partitions of the wall, he doesn't really hear the shotgun blast. It is a shotgun, but it is muffled. He does hear a sound, and it's 3:35 in the morning. So he goes to check to make sure everything's okay, and he hears what he tells detectives sounds like a, quote, cow mooing.
Really?
A cow mooing. A cow mooing. Okay. Struck me as...
He tells detectives it sounded like a cow mooing. He walks into the hall and he hears his moaning and groaning, and it's actually his dad.
In pain.
In pain.
I guess
And-
I could see that sounding like a cow.
And if you heard from the 911 call, you could barely hear him. Did y'all hear the dad in the background say, "Tell him to hurry up"?
I heard
No.
I heard something. I didn't hear the words. I heard a voice. I didn't know what it said.
I didn't hear that at all.
Okay, listen one more time.
Okay, Chuck, is he breathing at this time? Yeah, he's yelling.
Did you hear it?
Yeah.
Did you hear it when he says he's yelling, tell him they got to hurry fast?
It sounds interesting because you hear it. He's not desperate or anything. He sounds very matter of fact, which is good.
But if you're putting yourself in Chuck's position, the son calling.
You think Chuck did it? The son, the 16-year-old son.
Yeah.
I don't know if he did it, but he might have been involved.
Why wouldn't he just shoot him again? Because he's obviously not dead. I mean, you've heard him.
To make it seem more realistic that he was trying to save him.
I had to call 911 for the very first time last week at work for someone who was like feeling like really bad and needed an ambulance. And it was not as stressful as I thought it would be. So it's hard to say, but at the same time, the person that I was trying to help was not shot and bleeding all over the place.
But
and then they canceled the call because they started feeling better.
But also you didn't know them. Like
right.
That's a good point. I've had to call the ambulance for work a couple of times. And I would think it'd be very different than if it was your parent who was shot also. But yeah, like you have an emotional connection with this person.
Like, you can hear a little bit of wavering in his voice, but not to the point where it's like, oh my God, my dad was shot. Somebody please help. It was like, my dad has been shot. There's blood all over.
Yeah.
Like, he's saying to please hurry up. Like, it's not.
Even if I was like, oh my God, I accidentally shot Jen with a BB gun or something, or like our bow and arrow that we're about to get, I'd be like, oh my God, I fucked up. Somebody help me.
P.S. I'm putting this out there right now that I probably will end up with an arrow in my body somewhere. So
this is going to be interesting.
Or I will be at fault. Everyone steer clear.
But yeah, I mean, like you would be nervous if it was someone you knew, or two, if there was a visible injury.
All right, go to talkmurder.com. I'm putting all the crime scene photos up there. I want to show you kind of what the scene looks like before we progress any further.
And it was a shotgun, you said? That must have been messy.
This is the couch that he was sleeping on.
He was shot while he was on the couch.
Well, yeah, the couch/bed. You see the blood on the floor?
Yeah.
The blood right there on the sofa couch.
That's a lot of blood. It's saturated.
Yeah,
it's not
and this is his home right here, as you can see. It's kind of remote. They kind of live in a remote spot, kind of way out there in the country.
Too big of a yard.
Yeah, and
too much maintenance.
You see right here, this is a bullet shell they found. It's a .410 shotgun, was the murder weapon. Here's some more blood. There's a lot of blood there.
Yeah.
This is some more blood on the couch.
And we learned from the BTK killer that a Magnum is even more powerful than that.
Yeah, I use Magnums, but not the guns.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about the condoms.
Thanks.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the ice cream.
It's important to know, before the 16-year-old made that phone call to 911, he goes into the kitchen to grab the phone, but is unplugged from the receiver. I'm just going to break it to you. It wasn't the son. I know he sounded really calm on the 911, but, some people react to things differently than others.
He's calm, cool, and collected in a crisis situation, man.
It wasn't the son, but was he involved?
Well, we'll get to that. The victim here is Ruben Borchardt. He's 40 years old. He's a self-employed cabinet maker, and he was found dead in his home Easter Sunday. He shot twice in the chest at close range. Now, here's kind of what happened. The killer came in, and like I said, the father, Ruben, is sleeping in the basement. The father hears something. He hears the door opening, the crack of the wood, the floors. So he starts walking up the stairs from the basement to the main living area. And that's when he's confronted by the killer. Now, the killer has a sawed-off .410 shotgun, and it's a pretty powerful. Well, .410 is a pretty powerful shotgun.
But
any shotgun in general.
But the muzzle was sawed off to make it almost kind of like a handgun size.
Yeah, exactly. So you saw off the muzzle. It spreads the shot out faster. You can hit more range. I believe it's illegal in most states.
I remember talking about this in Bonnie and Clyde, I think.
I'm pretty sure it's illegal in most states. Don't quote me on that. But I'm pretty sure you can't be sawing off freaking shotgun barrels.
Well, that would make sense because if I remember correctly from the Murder in Marple episode, like way back, like the shotgun shells are full of like little BBs, right?
Yeah.
And they kind of just spread out. So it would, if you saw it off, would it exacerbate, which is my new favorite word of the day?
No, it just spreads out quicker.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Barrel. Yeah. So you can hit more, without aiming pretty much. It's a shotgun's a great house defense weapon because you really don't have to think about it. You point and shoot and you're probably going to hit something because the pellets do spread out like that. But Ruben was shot twice in the chest. So he walks up the stairs, he's confronted by the killer, and the killer just right in the chest. If you get shot by a shotgun in the chest and you're standing on the bottom stair, you're going back. So he flew back.
The killer or Ruben?
The Ruben.
Okay.
The victim. He flew back because of the power of the blast, throws him back on his ass. He actually gets up.
Oh.
And it's probably because it was a sawed-off.
It went further?
It's spread out, but it's less deadly, if you will. He actually got up and got his composure. Plus, he didn't get hit in the face. He got hit in the chest. He actually tries to walk back up the stairs, and he shot once more. Now, this is after the killer reloaded. So he had time to reload and then shot him, finished him off. And then he wasn't dead there. I mean, do you remember the 911 call?
You could hear him, yeah.
But he did die a few hours later. He was rushed to Jefferson Hospital. Then they were going to fly him via helicopter to the emergency hospital, and he died on the way.
Oh, a medevac.
He died on Easter Sunday. All right, a little bit about Ruben. He is a self-employed cabinet maker. He is self-employed, yes, but he did have another job as well. He's a silk screen printer. So basically he works at a lumber yard, and I don't really know his job, but he was a carpenter. He could, in fact, the house that they're living in, he built with his bare hands. So that's what he did for a living. I believe he just did the cabinet making part-time, trying to build up his business. He was married to his first wife, Susan, but in February 1979, she was killed in a car accident right in front of that same home that you saw there. So it's been 13 years, but, it's still tragic because they had two children, a daughter and a son. The son, Chuck, he's the one that called. He's now 16, but where do you think this is going so far?
I'm trying to figure out how the hint comes into play.
I think that Chuck's involved, and he had his friend was trigger happy that they planned this all in study hall. That's my thought.
I like that.
Well, see, Chuck doesn't really have a motive to kill his father. I mean, number one, he's living at home. Where would he go?
Right.
Number two, they were best friends, and they would go shooting together, hunting together, doing everything together.
Or is there something about their relationship we don't know?
Or is it
abusive?
the daughter?
It wasn't the daughter.
Was the father abusive?
The father was not abusive, no. But maybe you guys should ask about his wife. I'm wondering why you haven't asked about his wife.
Because you just told us that she had died in 1979.
His first wife dies in 1979. He goes back to work a month later. He's still shaken up, depressed, and everyone can tell.
Well, yeah. I mean, your spouse dies. It's not something you're going to get over in a short amount of time.
But he meets a woman. She's a secretary at the same place that he works at. They start to form a bond.
That happens in the workplace, You got to be careful sometimes.
True. But also, that's really soon.
It is soon, but I mean, they say
I would
if
haunt
you're,
your ass.
No, I mean, they say if you're happily married and something happens like that, then you're quick to get remarried. That's like something they say.
I mean, I guess I can see that.
Wait, what? That you're quick to remarry?
If you're happily married before and then your wife dies, suddenly, then you're quick to get remarried
because you
want to fill the void in your life.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean,
this is him right here. Take a look at.
He looks sweet.
Yeah,
handsome.
You also can't really control, like, if you have chemistry and feelings with another person. It's not something that you're like, I want to have chemistry and feelings with this person. If it just happens, it happens.
True.
Not for Nicole.
It's true.
You ain't marrying shit if I die.
This is true.
You're looking at Diane Borchardt right here.
She looks like Sarah Paulson in that picture, but not in those pictures. Just that one picture.
She's known throughout the neighborhood as Miss B.
Oh, Borchardt. Got it.
She actually runs a sports screen. It's like a T-shirt printing company. It's called Miss B's Sports Screen in town. Now, they hit it off because she actually felt really sympathetic and almost pitied Ruben coming back to work. And you can tell he's just not okay. He's just all over the place. He's missing his wife. And not only that, he's got 2 young children. He's got a daughter, Brooke, and a son who you heard, but at this time he was young. You know, he was a baby. Mm-hmm. He was 2 years old. She approached the relationship that they formed not as in, I'm attracted to you, but as in, I want to provide motherly support for you because you're hurting and your 2 children, because they need it. You know, even though he is a great father and he has always been the utmost father, Christian father and everything else, she still goes in there because she could tell that they needed a mother figure, especially at that young age, 2 and 3 years old.
But to make that kind of commitment, like, I understand that, like, you want to be there for someone, even if it's as a friend. But, like, to make that kind of commitment to get married and like, there has to be some sort of relationship there previously, or it's not like I could walk up to someone on the street and be like, oh, I'm so sorry for your loss. Do your kids need a mother? Like, I can do that for you. Like, you know, like, there must have been some kind of deep bond, even if it wasn't romantic, or maybe it was romantic. Who knows? Like, I would do that for
a friend.
Yeah.
Like, you would do that. I would do that for a close friend or something like that who was desperate for their children to have a mother figure or something.
Right.
I don't know.
Nicole, can you read this? This is from the Wisconsin State Journal, 21st of May, 1995.
Diane Borchardt, age 46. Diane Borchardt was described as a highly visible person in her community. In addition to being a teacher's aide at the local high school, she operated Mrs. B's sports screen store in downtown Jefferson.
Oh, interesting. What year was that?
What year was what?
That she died.
Is that an obituary?
She's not dead.
Oh, that's kind of written like an obituary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shit,
It looks
I guess
like an obituary.
It
It
does.
does.
All right. Well, it's not. That's crazy. I didn't think about that.
Oh, I did.
So
It's black and white. You have her picture, her age,
Well,
they refer to
The
her
only
as
thing
was.
that's missing is she survived by, you know, blah, blah, blah.
well, the paper is old too. You know, it's not. I mean, it's 94.
Doesn't matter. We need to call that editor and tell him he was terrible at his job. And if he's dead, then we need to communicate with the dead.
Okay, so Diane Borchardt, 46, as Nicole said. Now, she is a teacher's aide, so she does a lot of stuff. She's a mother to 2 kids right now because they eventually get married within the same year that his wife dies.
That's fast.
Which I don't really think it's. Here's
okay, I'm going to hunt your ass if I die before you and you get married less than a year.
Here's the question I have for you guys tonight, and I really want to know what you guys think. And I'm not saying this is wrong by any means. I'm just curious of what everyone thinks. If your wife dies in the home that you share together with her, is it weird, or does this happen a lot, to move your new wife into that same home that you once shared with your deceased wife?
I think it depends. I have never been married nor had a spouse die, so I can't really comment. But I would think that if it was a traumatic death, such as the car accident that happened right in front of that house, you would want to move your family away from those traumatic memories.
I would think it's a little weird, but if there was enough time that had passed, I think I would be okay with it.
But it was less than a year.
Oh, then no.
That I would not be, because that's
I think it was like 9 months.
Like her, you can probably still smell her perfume on clothes.
But-
you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm going to give it 3 years as a minimum
It's a good rule.
for that. But like, I think it would depend on how the spouse died. Did the spouse die in the house? Because if the spouse died in the house, I know in this case that she didn't. She was dead in a car accident, like you said.
Yeah, but she was, I mean, it was basically right in front of the house. It was a snowy February in Wisconsin, which is always snowing
I mean,
there
that
probably.
does hold some bad
And
memories, but
she-
not technically in
She
the
dies literally right on the property line.
house. That's borderline for me.
And I'm also really curious if, let's say your spouse dies really suddenly, would someone be more likely to marry someone that looks like their deceased wife? For instance, like, you know, you wouldn't go marry a blonde if your deceased wife as a brunette.
I mean, I guess people have a type. For me, I think my type is personality trait wise, not so much like physical appearance. I mean, like I definitely have like my qualifications look wise, but like, but you know,
I hate facial hair.
I love it.
Mine's 100% appearance and how they look. If they got a big ass, big round ass,
don't have that.
Big boobs, you know, hot, you know, nice tight body. That's what I look for at the gym all the time.
Well, I mean, you guys know me. Like, for me, like, no matter.
Used to be me. Pre-quarantine me.
Oh my God, no, stop it. You're literally sitting across the table from me, so you can stop that. But, like, I don't know. For me, I think it's more personality wise. Like, it doesn't matter who you are or what you are or whatever, you know, like, if we click, then we click.
Personality doesn't go very far with the lights off and you in bed humping.
Hey.
If the lights are off, why
if
not?
the lights are off, it doesn't matter.
I mean, I wouldn't know.
That's why you want something hot.
I wouldn't know, but I mean, like,
I don't know how I should be taking this.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying. Okay, so here's the thing: is like personality.
Personality.
If you have personality, no. Here's my thing. No, it's not bullshit. I mean, obviously, you want to have some sexual attraction to your partner, but like, because that is important.
So all in all, they were married for 14 years before her husband gets murdered. I'm not saying it was her that did it, you know, because women don't know how to fire shotguns. But
you don't know that.
But
I don't know how to fire a shotgun.
I don't either.
But her husband's family and friends described his wife, Diane, as, quote, cold, controlling, and vindictive.
Really?
Now, her stepson and daughter claimed that she was abusive to them and she was two-faced. I want to say that Diane and Ruben, before he was murdered, did procreate a human life form.
Could you make that sound any more alien?
Yeah, or scientific. Did she like try to like seduce him because he had the cabinet business and
no, they were married. What are you talking about?
No, I'm saying, but like for his money, because he had the side hustle for the cat. That's like a pretty lucrative business, right?
No,
isn't it?
He was actually not making hardly any money.
Oh,
and one of the arguments they had was
he
about
was very
money.
attractive, though.
Yeah, he is hot. I'll tell you that.
Was she in it just for his looks?
She says, even to this day, that she married him for more of a comfort thing for him. That's her words.
For him. But like,
she says that she was never physically attracted to him like that.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
He was a hottie.
I'm just saying what she had
maybe
told
she was
reporters.
gay.
Maybe.
She did father a baby.
Nope.
She did give birth to a daughter between them. So right now, Diane has a stepson, Chuck, and a stepdaughter, Brooke. And then her own daughter, Reagan, was biologically their DNA matched of her and Ruben.
Got it.
They had a child together.
Got it.
They made a baby.
I'm so confused. So did she know him? She was his secretary?
He also worked at a carpentry business. It was like a lumber yard or something like that. So she was a secretary there, not for him. He didn't own the business, but that's how they met. Because he came back to work a month later, obviously still distraught. And not only that, but guys don't know how to raise children by themselves. You know, so she kind of stepped in for the children, but the good times only lasted so long. And then she started being abusive, from what the stepchildren say, to them, as well as verbally abusive and physically, in some cases, to Ruben, the father.
So, I guess that answered my question. My question was, like, if she said she wasn't attracted to him and she wasn't, like, she didn't have a strong relationship with him from the office, like, if she wasn't his secretary, like, it sounds like she must have, at one point, developed a strong relationship with the kids. If that was like otherwise, then why even bother?
I didn't mean to say that she wasn't physically attracted to him. What I meant to say was she had said to multiple reporters that she didn't marry because she fell in love. She married him because she wanted to provide that motherly role that her children wasn't getting. I'm not saying that she didn't think he was good looking.
Oh, okay.
Because I mean, he's obviously a good looking guy.
Yeah.
I want to say right now that the police immediately suspected her because, and I said this multiple times, but Ruben was sleeping in the basement. But he was married to Diane, which also lived in the house. But she wasn't there that night because police did go down this route of suspecting the mother.
Well, where was she?
And the wife. She was actually 3 hours away.
Really?
In a town called Tomahawk, Wisconsin. She was spending the night, the Easter Sunday, with Ruben's first wife's parents, which in itself is freaking weird to me. But
Yeah, that's strange. Did she have the kids with her?
I don't think she had the kids with her, but she did have the family dog. Remember, the kids are all grown up now. Not grown up, but Chuck is 16. The other one's, about the same age. I know she didn't bring Chuck with her. She probably brought
Reagan?
She most likely brought Reagan with her.
Brooke and Reagan. Sorry.
But I'm not sure. I didn't see anywhere who she brought. I know she did bring the dog because that was like a big thing. The police did go down that route, but she did have an alibi. She was 3 hours away. So there's no way she could have done it. But she did have a good motive. Number one, Ruben and Diane, they were going through a divorce. And a very bitter divorce. They were arguing about ownership after the divorce of the house and custody of the children.
That even makes it more strange to me as to why she would be at his ex-wife's or former wife's parents' house.
Was she a very Christian woman? Did she say she was doing this out of her was she acting sacrificial in what she did?
From what I've seen, she wasn't a very Christian woman, but I believe they both were Christian. I know for a fact that Ruben was a Christian because what I'm about to tell you went opposite of his values. But I'm going to go down this road in a minute. But Ruben was sleeping with someone else.
A man?
Ooh.
No, a man? What?
I mean, that would have been quite the twist.
Well, you said it was going against his values. I don't know.
That was a good
How
guess.
about having an affair? What the fuck?
Well, I guess in general, yeah.
Adultery, that's one of the
Commandments?
top 10 commandments. Top 10 commandments.
Hey,
TRL Live.
Oh, we
there's
didn't do
not a lot
Bible
going
verse.
on in this house, okay? Well, as far as me, I don't know about you guys. You guys do your own thing. But, there's not a lot going on ever. So sometimes you just got to sensationalize things.
What you're reading now, Nicole, is from Wisconsin State Journal, Wednesday, April 20th, 1994.
According to court documents, both had fought for possession of the home, but Family Court Commissioner Michael O'Niber awarded the residence to Ruben Borchardt for April 15th occupancy on the grounds it would cause less stress on the two children. In court documents, Diane Borchardt contended that her husband, who had petitioned for the divorce, was having an extramarital relationship and had been leaving home late at night without telling her or the children where he was going. The court document also accused Ruben Borchardt of being so wrapped up in his affair that it was affecting his business and children and maintenance of the home. Ruben Borchardt, in court documents, contended his wife was trying to punish him and cause him financial damage. Diane Borchardt argued she had put in significant amount of equity and improvements into the home.
So she's fighting him to get the home that he previously owned with his former wife.
It doesn't matter.
Away?
He was, as I'm about to tell you, he was having an affair. She was not. I would believe that if she had a better divorce attorney, she could have got the damn house because not only did she not get the house, but she didn't get any of the assets worth about $300,000, and she didn't get custody of the children. She got nothing at all. And he got everything for having an affair. Divorces work. They try to even it out between both parties. The party that usually gets more is the one that hasn't been screwing someone else. Does that make sense? Because now you're taking her out, Diane, and you're throwing her on the street. I
guess I can see that.
While he gets to bone his mistress, which was also married, which I'll get to. And keep all the house, and keep the house, and all the valuables and everything, and she gets shit for doing nothing wrong.
I can see that. That it seems like she's being punished for his misdeeds, but at the same time, these were his things before.
It doesn't matter. When you get married, your things become our things.
Well, that's a big reason why there are certain states that are considered to be no-fault states, where it doesn't matter if you're the person who had the affair or not, or the reason. You just split it. But there are states in which you can be at fault, and that does impact your share.
And it should. I mean, you're the one. All right, he had an affair and ruined the whole family. They could have went to counseling or whatever, but now she has to move out. And he moves his mistress in that house. She gets nothing.
But why would you want his house that he's had?
It doesn't matter if you
Just
get
to sell it could be like
if
just
you
the
get
value
married,
of it, maybe.
Jen, getting married means you share everything 50-50. I don't care if he had a freaking yacht worth $1 million before he married you. Now, guess what? You're entitled to half of that motherfucker. That's the point of being married.
Yeah, murdered
so
to
when
me?
you get freaking divorced, it's supposed to be evenly split. And it wasn't in this case. She didn't get shit. He got everything, and he's the one that was boning this other girl. I'm just saying. That's how marriages and divorce is supposed to work. So what you're about to read now is actually from the movie plot of Seduced by Madness.
At the divorce proceedings, Ruben gains custody of Chuck and Diane and goes sole custody of her shop in Reagan. However, to her outrage, Ruben gains custody to the house. Diane is to vacate the property within 1 month and silently promises to enact revenge on Ruben.
Ruben is a cabinet maker, like I said, and he married Diane, but their marriage is kind of shitty.
Right.
It's falling apart all over the damn
Loveless.
place. A loveless relationship. Fighting, arguing all the damn time. He meets this girl, Judy Frantz, Frantz, while he's installing cabinets in her home / her husband's home. She's actually married to the city manager, Carl Frantz.
Hans and Franz.
Yeah. Now, here's kind of how it goes down. He's installing cabinets. Oh, I like these little handles, and I like your handle. You know.
Whoa!
Well,
She's talking about his knob next?
He's at the house installing cabinets, and then he starts to talk about his woes with his wife, and she doesn't love me, and she calls me a little bitch.
Oh.
And then, like, the next time he's over there doing more cabinet work, she starts to talk about her relationship that sucks. Oh, this guy's old. He's got wrinkly balls. He's got a 5-year plan. Don't die. The affair was public knowledge. Everyone in Jefferson knew about the affair. And keep in mind, the mistress's husband was a high-ranking town official.
Right.
And the whole thing was public knowledge. Everyone knew. And then a few months later, Diane finds out.
Uh-oh.
This right here is a reading from Seduced by Madness.
Diane then accuses Ruben of spoiling his own children and neglecting Reagan, and says that he ought to be making more money. Ruben tries to reason with Diane when suddenly, without provocation, Diane hits him in the head with a label gun. Bow! Like one of those sticker guns?
Yeah, like the label gun.
Oh, shit. I thought it was like a legitimate gun.
No, label gun, like you make little labels for your locker.
$4.99. Click.
Yeah. No, the label, like you label
label
your
maker?
locker. Yeah, label maker. Like John's locker is a label gun.
Oh, not like
You
a
guys don't
price
know-
tag
you
maker?
don't
Yeah,
what
I
a
know.
label-
I was
Yeah, I
thinking
do.
price
I know
tag.
what you're talking about. But we don't have them as guns anymore. They're like keyboards, and you have to type them out and hit print. Anyway, Ruben later admits to Claire that his marriage was a mistake. Claire also reveals that she and her husband have also grown apart in recent years. When the project is finished, Ruben admits his true feelings for Claire and kisses her on impulse. He then leaves her confused, only to return, and this time, the two proceed to kiss each other passionately.
Okay, so this movie is obviously, quote, based on a true story, but I thought it was funny to throw it in there. The court actually orders Diane out on April 15th, 1994. Now, the murder happened when?
The third.
April 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
So by the 15th, she's got to be moved out. And
That's
not
26 years ago today.
And not only that, but Ruben said, I'm going to need you to pack up your shit and move out. And as soon as you do, I'm moving my hot mistress in here and we're going to bone.
Do you have a picture from his mistress?
I don't. I try to find her, but I can't find her. She's probably really hot, though.
Why do you say that?
Why don't you Google a picture
Do you
of
have
the
some
mayor,
fantasies?
of the city manager, and there's probably a picture of her with him at an event.
Ooh.
They got divorced, so I don't even know what her name would be now. Ruben tells Diane, listen, you got to move out because I'm trying to get some strange in here. He wants his mistress to move in. So she's kind of pissed off about this. Not only did she lose the house and everything because this guy can't keep his ween in his little trouser palsers.
Wow, that's the first time
Ween.
you've ever used that term.
It's better than Big Sparky Time.
Yeah, I don't like Big Sparky Time.
So Diane's like, okay, I got you, boo. I got you, baby boy. We're going to do this my way, apparently. So she gets Marie Ruiz, which is a foster child. On top of all this other stuff they're doing, they're also fostering a 15-year-old, which seems fucking awful.
During a divorce?
This 15-year-old that was living with the couple at the time testifies that she tells the court that they went on a road trip a few days before the murder because she wanted to go by all these little shady motels and collect receipts to prove that Ruben was having coitus with Judy.
So she followed him to all of these gross motels?
She goes and gets all these receipts. And not only that, they actually stop at a little pawn shop to get a receipt for a pair of sapphire earrings that her husband bought for the married Judy France.
Really?
Which is kind of fucked up because,
Yeah.
he was religious. So, and in fact, I read in one paper that he wasn't allowed to receive communion one weekend or whenever y'all do that church thing because everyone knows about the affair. And the preacher or the priest or whoever, the Pope, says, hey, you can't take this bread and this wine.
Whoa.
Because
that's
you've been
cold. But that's still pretty cold to do that off of a rumor. You don't know that for a fact.
Right. I mean,
everyone knows because
But still, if that, you wouldn't, I can't imagine.
you saw this guy. He's a good looking guy and everything else.
Yeah.
And he's a good guy. That's what everyone says. But he falls in teenage love with this mistress. They're all giddy, let's go to the park and do each other,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And they're going to the movies and he may be grabbing her boots, A day before the murder, they get into a domestic argument. She goes to the police station, shows bruises and everything else. The stepson, Chuck, on his second interview with the police, says something that he's never said before. This is what he said.
I can't believe she would do this to me. Are you sure?
Yes, I'm positive.
Chuck, you didn't say that before.
I know.
You did not say that to me. I can't believe she would do this.
I wonder why.
Is that true, or is that something that you just...
No, I'm positive.
So Chuck says, I can't believe she would do this to me, is what his father said while he was dying. They actually put Chuck under hypnosis to kind of recall the events that happened because they were really convinced at first it was him for whatever reason, probably because he's so calm on the 911 call. The Jefferson County DA, Linda Larson, said that Diane did this as, quote, a killing to end a divorce and that she was, quote, losing it all. In fact, Diane made statements to a friend, which testified in court as well, in 1991 on how she hated her husband and how she hoped he would finally find someone else. But when he did, she would, quote, hire a hitman to kill him.
What?
Nicole, if you can read this, this is from the Wisconsin State Journal, May 14th, 1995.
Victim feared wife, girlfriend says. Ruben Borchardt allegedly devised warning system. Ruben Borchardt put jars outside his bedroom as a warning device because he feared his estranged wife, Diane, would come down and stab him. Jurors were told Saturday in the murder for hire trial of Diane Borchardt.
Whoa.
Ruben Borchardt's then-girlfriend, Judy France, 37, testified he told her he was afraid Diane Borchardt may try to bobbit him.
Whoa,
Lorraine
like
Bobbitt.
Lorena.
Whoa, yeah. Referring to Lorena Bobbitt, the woman who severed her husband's penis during a marital dispute in a nationally publicized case. Fran said that he placed empty glass mayonnaise jars on the concrete floor so an intruder would knock them over and alert him. He didn't die?
No, he didn't.
No, they fucking sewed his penis back on.
He's actually
Did they really?
Yeah, he's a porn star now.
Wait, he's a porn star?
Yeah, he's done porn. I haven't seen it.
Well, shit, we've all done porn, Jen.
Not me. No one wants to see that fucking shit.
Well, I don't really know the Bobbitt story, but I do kind of want to see the
There's
photos.
an HBO documentary.
Judy Franz testified that her boyfriend Ruben came up to her and said, she may try to bob it me. Bob it. She actually used that word, bob it. Ruben also told Judy on the day before his death that he felt Diane, quote, was up to something because she was going out of town on Easter weekend. But she didn't kill, right? Because she was out of town.
Apparently.
Right.
I mean, but
She hired someone.
who?
The Tiger King.
Keep thinking.
The son. The daughter. A friend of the son's
The
that he met in
priest.
study hall.
Diane
A
shows...
student.
Diane, which...
She was a student aide, one of her students.
Yes.
Teacher's aide. She was one of her students, someone at the school.
Diane would constantly show up at Judy's door, banging, causing a scene, a ruckus. You want to come out? You want to mess with my man, bitch? You going to come out here and you going to get a whoop ass. Okay, February 1994. Diane, they're still married.
Right.
They're about to get divorced. But
Okay.
this is crazy. Diane kissed Ruben, quote, hard on the lips. So she kissed him hard on the lips, like,
Like open mouth or not?
and then she looks back, leans forward, puts her mouth on his earlobe, gives a little lick, and then says, quote, you're dead.
Whoa. I've
This-
heard that earlobe is very sensitive.
This was described.
Ticklish.
This was described in court by Judy Franz, the girlfriend, and she said that it reminded her of a mafia don giving the kiss of death.
Whoa, like Judas.
Bad ass.
And he died on
She just
Easter.
like got some mad points, Diane.
She died on
You know
Easter. He
what?
died on Easter, and she was like his Judas. Whoa, mind blown.
You know what I was thinking about when we saw her obituary, not obituary picture?
Yeah.
She looked like, what's the mean one from Golden Girls? Dorothy. Yeah, she seems like something that also Dorothy would do, and she kind of looks like Dorothy.
This is a scene from Seduced by Madness.
Before leaving, Diane forces Ruben to kiss her in front of the cops and whispers to him, "You're dead."
So the mafia kiss of death, like the Sopranos. Remember they took that guy out on the boat and they gave him a kiss? Remember that?
Yep.
It's literally
awesome, man.
the move of Judas. Like, this has been talked about many, many, many a time.
4 months go by. They still have not got the killer.
Really?
But a tipster called in.
How?
Fucking snitch. Snitches get stitches, bitches.
Whoa, nice rhyming. Proud of you.
A tipster calls in and says, I know who did it. It was 3 kids, and they're students at Jefferson High.
Really?
He says that 2 students went down to shoot Ruben. The other student went and unhooked the phone. This is when the cops knew that this was a legit tipster because the unhooking of the phone was not public knowledge. So they knew that this has to be the thing. As I said before, Diane, the one that lost everything because he couldn't keep his little Peter Weeder,
Who I'm now picturing Dorothy from Golden Girls. Go on.
she was a teacher's aide and a study hall monitor, whatever the fuck that is. We didn't have that. We had detention, and I was there all the time.
Yeah, we didn't have
Well,
that
when
either.
I was in high school, we actually had a study period where, like, you can just like go to the cafeteria and
Or
do
the
your
library.
homework.
Yep.
Yeah, for
Or the library.
losers. Diane was also a study hall monitor, and this is basically what happens. She goes in there, all bitter, woe is me, my husband is having coitus and intercourse with another woman. Not only that, he's getting awarded the home, everything. I'm losing everything. Not only that, but he's beating the shit out of me at night, which there was no evidence that that actually happened. But she appealed to the students. In fact, one of the students she appealed to also went through the physical abuse at his home. So he's starting to relate to her.
Was there a sexual thing going on with her?
No, that's a good question. There was not a sexual thing at all. And that was one
How
of the
else
roads
could she have gotten it?
because this is Mrs. B. It's like Mrs. Frizz from Magic School Bus.
Miss Frizzle.
What if she comes to freaking work and on the bus and she's like, you know what, kids? I don't think we should shrink down and go into the human genome today.
That was my favorite episode.
I love the Magic School
Because my
Bus.
boyfriend just beat the tits out of me and she's got a black eye and shit. That's going to piss you off. You're going to be like, where's that motherfucker at? Let's make this bus, human size again so I can get off and go shoot him. So she appeals to a few of the kids. Doug Vest, a 16-year-old, was kind of the ringleader behind this. Now, there was a few others, but the ones I'm talking about tonight are the ones that got charged.
So these are the key players.
Doug Vest recruits his classmate, Josh Yankee, and he also recruits his own 15-year-old cousin, Michael Maldonado. Now, Michael is the youngest, is at 15. Okay, now here are the kids right here. GoTalkMurder.com. Here's what they were promised. Number one, $600 up front.
What?
I believe they would have got lighter sentences if it wasn't a financial gain for them, because I do believe, as you'll see, that they were impacted emotionally and thought it was the right thing to do to kill her abusive husband. But they did take money, $600 up front in cash. They actually met at her t-shirt shop, got cash in an envelope, which I want to point out, there was no evidence of that at all.
Well,
and
it's
I feel
cash flow.
I feel like the defense should have argued that more. A promise of $20,000 after,
Whoa!
because he had $100,000 in life insurance. So a promise of $20,000 after the deed was done.
Holy shit, in 94, that'll pay for at least 2 years of college.
Yeah.
Who the shit wants to pay for college? So here's what happened. They all go to the house. She had drawn a map and everything. They get to the house 3:30 in the morning, and then they immediately think they should back out. But Michael Maldonado, the 15-year-old, was like, fuck no, we're here now. We're going to blast a cap in this asshole. That's what he said. So he kind of pushed them forward. Now, Michael Maldonado was the trigger man from what? Because they all confessed eventually, and they all claimed that he was a trigger man.
Jury, in the words that you remember, what Mr. Maldonado said when he took the gun.
Said, we are here to do this. There's no turning back. Now let's go do it.
That was Josh Yankee on the witness stand. He said, the judge said, tell me what Michael Maldonado said once you guys pulled up. And Josh Yankee said, we're here to do this. There's no turning back. Let's go. Now, that's important because they all did want to leave. They got cold feet. Michael Maldonado takes the .410 sawed-off shotgun. They find a way in through the back door. It was unlocked. Now, Josh Yankee was the one that disconnected the phone line, but he panicked and ran back into the car. The other two, Doug Vest and Michael Maldonado, they're the ones that were with the father and actually shot him, Michael Maldonado being the trigger man. In the basement, they start walking down, but Ruben was awakened by the sound of them entering, so they meet at the stairs. Maldonado takes a shotgun, puts it really close to his chest. I mean, I'd imagine the boys were maybe on the fourth step, and Ruben was on the first, and walking up, shoots him right in the chest. He flies backwards. The boys reload the shotgun. Ruben gets back up to the first step of the platform and then gets shot again. And then they leave. And then that's where the 911 calls comes in. Yeah, it did take months because, no one was coming forward. In fact, the police had an interview with Diane the next morning to rule her out, but her lawyer called. She's not going to be attending this interview. So that was kind of suspicious. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Please, I say this all the time. Don't go into an interview room by yourself. Get a motherfucking lawyer. I don't care what it is. I don't care how innocent you are. Get a lawyer straight off the bat.
I guess my question is, where did they get the shotgun from? Like, did she provide it to them, or was it something that one of the kids had from one of their fathers or mothers, or like?
I think they got it through a peer because there was a fifth person that was charged as conspiring with this, but I'm not going to go into that. And it was another classmate, a female, and I saw that she provided the link to the shotgun, but I didn't really go into that too much. So this is another reading from Seduced by Madness.
Chuck soon wakes up to find his father bleeding to death on the stairs and calls 911 while Ruben calls Judy. As Ruben fights for his life, he proclaims his love for her and leaves his children in her care. Ruben is rushed to the hospital, where his family gathers to learn of his condition. Judy soon shows up to see Ruben, only to discover that he has died.
So that's most likely fabrication. He's not sitting there while his son's calling 911 and he's like, oh, I'm going out, baby. You know, this is the last for me, but I love you. Take care of my kids. You know, I mean, that's just kind of fanciful.
Does the kid that cut the phone cord and didn't have anything to do with the shoot, like wasn't present during the shooting, did he get less time than the other two?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. So that was Josh Yankee that cut the phone line, and then he runs back out to the car because he got cold feet. So here's how it works when there's multiple parties involved. They were all involved in this murder, these three kids and obviously the mother.
Right.
They try to find the person who had the least involvement and will probably get the lighter sentence anyway. And they try to get him to work for the state to turn the state's evidence against the other two.
So kind of like an informant?
Yeah, kind of like an informant. So that's how they usually do these cases with more than one party. So that's what they did. They went to Josh Yankee, which, you know, he was there at the murder house, but he just cut the phone and then went in the car. They said, listen, if you plead no contest and work with us, the state of Wisconsin, you know, and the DA, then we'll offer you a deal. And that deal was just over 10 years. So he basically got out. I mean, he's out now, obviously. He's served his time.
He's been out for like 15 years, 16 years.
Because these kids are minors, okay, 16 and 15, they did offer them plea bargains. They actually went up to Doug Vest and offered him a plea deal that was very generous. It was 13 years if he confessed to the murder.
Really?
But he decided to turn it down and play his luck in the courtroom and have a full trial.
Really?
And that didn't work for him.
I've never been involved like this before in anything. And I guess I have to learn the hard way. Sorry to Ruben's mother and his kids and all his friends that know him.
You can see by his statement that he does feel a lot of remorse for what he did, but he turned down a 13-year plea deal, which was not a smart move. He got sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole in 25 years.
Wow.
So, I mean, 25 years is now 2020.
Yeah.
You know, about. So he could be getting out now, but he could have got out, 10 years ago or whatever.
Right.
Michael Maldonado played a different tune altogether. He's a trigger man and 15-year-old. He actually claimed that he wasn't even at the murder house. He was actually at home sleeping.
What?
Really?
That was his alibi.
Oh,
Wow.
please.
This right here is the judge, Jacqueline Irwin.
For the jury to believe your alibi, they would have to conclude that no fewer than 7 people committed perjury.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? So he actually gets life with the possibility of parole after 50 years, which I believe is pretty harsh because he was a 15-year-old.
Right.
Well,
but I mean...
Normally, like we've gone through this a couple times, life for life, like I don't really feel bad, minor, not minor. But we've come to a couple cases recently, thinking of the DC sniper, where they might even be reconsidering that because of the age he was in which he committed those murders. Thinking of it from that lens, that is kind of a surprising sentence, and I wonder if that will get revisited if laws change.
I don't disagree with that sentence. I wonder how much Diane had to do with the fact that he committed the crime. I mean, we all know that she promised him funds, $600 for the act and $20,000 after. That's a lot of money for a 15-year-old, Like right now, I mean, if someone offered me $20,000 today to do something, it would really have to be out of my wheelhouse for me to say no,
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. But at the same time, not only was the trigger man, it's not like he sat there scared and did it. Like he was the one that talked to the other kids and was like, we're here for a reason. We're going to do this, So yeah. I don't disagree with that sentence for life, but I want to know what she got.
Oh, she's got off scot-free.
What?
No, I'm just fucking with you.
Oh my
I was
God.
gonna say.
So even till this day, she actually proclaims her innocence.
Fuck her.
This is from American Justice.
The whole story doesn't even add up. And in all honesty, if I were that mad at my husband, he made me learn how to shoot. I don't like guns, but I happen to be a pretty good shot. If I was going to have something done to Ruben, I think I'm smart enough to have figured out a hunting accident or something.
Oh.
Yeah,
Thanks
that's
for the alternative theory.
So she actually, till this day, still proclaims her innocence. She was sentenced to life in prison on August 1st, 1995, and she's still there, and she'll be there until the day she dies.
Nice.
Good.
Now, there was a fifth person charge. I'm just throwing this in there because I want to say I didn't go down this road because she was only facing 18 months anyway, but Shannon Johnson, she was a conspirator. There was also a few more kids that were brought in to be questioned, and they were about to be tried as well, but nothing panned out with that. So the 3 kids involved, only one of them, I believe, is out of prison now, and she's in prison for life. So thank you so much, Rowan. I absolutely enjoyed this story. I really did. I'm really surprised I haven't heard it before because this has been remade into a few different documentary series. It was on that show Snapped, for instance. And I'm just so glad that you requested this. It was really interesting. So thank you so much. If you guys enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit that subscribe button on whatever podcasting app you use. If you like this story, you can follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you're absolutely obsessed with this podcast and want to become our student, go to talkmore.com/join. Become a Talko Supremo. Get a badass t-shirt, sticker swag, a lot of love. Shout it out all over the place. Tell me what story you want me to do. I'll research it, dedicate it to you in study hall. My name is John, here with Jen and Nicole. And until next time, good night, you lovely, lovely people. So Ruben actually tells Diane because the court order
That's my Mr. Movie Phone voice.
Loosely based? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, loosely like the mistress. It means her vagina is loose because she gets boned by that Reuben sandwich.
Ew.
In her sandwich, in her roast beef.
Ew.
A Reuben sandwich in a roast beef.
Reuben is corned beef.
Yeah, but
Get
roast beef is like vagina that's like all ripply and saggly, and sometimes it hangs out. Actually, you can regrow your penis. It's like a lizard. You take the tail off.
Or a starfish.
Because I remember when I was in the military, mine got like snapped off when I was jumping out of an airplane, and it like regrew back in 2 years. It's fucking crazy. I mean, it's still like an inch right now, but it's growing. It's continuing to grow. It's pretty pathetic looking.
I hate you sometimes. But those are expensive. And I know I just got my stimulus check, but like
that got deposited today.
It did. But
$1,200.
I didn't get any fucking money.
Because you don't pay taxes.
That's because all my money goes to the Cayman Islands, bitches.